Well, hello. Today I'd like to welcome you to my review of a Monte Rosa pen. This is a Montblanc pen, but you're not going to see the famous bird splat of the Montblanc brand because this was a lower cost pen that was, well, lower cost line of pens, I should say, that was mainly sold to the student market. Some of them could even be found with steel nibs. Now, this one happens to have a gold nib, and what a nib it is, but let's dive into it. If videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And I'll just be honest, I had never heard of Monte Rosa until I ran into this pen. So, when I was trying to think, well, what am I going to do as a comment starter, I had just drawn a blank there. So, yeah, it was a surprise to me. So feel free to leave a comment about whatever. I can't think of anything. Maybe I'll think of something during the video. But let's take a look at the pen. So the pen is black. Oops, it's one of these slim black pens that I like. There is a hint of the Montblanc bird splat right here on the clip. That's about it. Nothing on the finial, even a little injection mark. Nothing on the other finial. A little bit of branding around this clip, the cap band. We have Montblanc. And then, what does that say? I think it says Monte Rosa, but I can't quite make it out. It's very scratched. And when I open up the pen, you can see some wear from the cap. This isn't up to Montblanc standards, maybe. The nib, 14 karats, so it is a gold nib. I find this a bit problematic. Almost like it needs to be heat set. Which I may try that after I get this video done. I do believe it's an ebonite feed. Because I do occasionally have trouble with this pen getting it to write. And we'll talk about that when I get it inked up here. Another neat feature are these ink windows. I mean, it's subtle, but very different. In fact, I picked a yellow ink just to show them off. The piston is very smooth acting. So all in all, it's got a lot of things going on for it. So the ink I picked for it, I'm just going to do De Atramentis Mahatma Gandhi because I wanted a nice yellow ink. So the not hexagonal, rhomboid. Is that the word I want? Anyway, the ink windows could be seen and enjoyed. The pen feels very lightweight in my hand. Inked up. If I'd put a black ink in there, you couldn't enjoy the nice ink windows, so I picked this. I find that this pen starts well, then it struggles for a bit, and then, I don't know, it just kind of finds its way and begins writing very well. And I think it's that heat setting thing. So you'll see good performance here. I'll get to enjoy a couple of days of it not performing well, and then by the time I'm filming pens in use, it'll probably be writing well again. I wasn't clear on a model for this pen. So I just went with that as its name. They did make several pens. There's one on Myober Pens right now, which is now called Proto Pens, which will take me a while to get into the new habit, but it has a hexagonal shape, which was tempting. But ultimately I didn't go that route, but I was tempted. So this is De Atramentis Mahatma Gandhi. And I like this color. I've been told I should try it, and now I'm glad I did. Flex definitely has some. It's a very soft nib. All in all, kind of a fun pen to write with. Wetness and flow, I think you can tell that this is a wet pen. No trouble keeping up there, except you didn't get to see that because I zoomed in too close. There we go. The smear test, which in fairness is related to the ink as well. Yeah, it's wet. Reverse writing. That felt a little scratchier, and I'd say it's a fine, but I think it did pretty well with that. Now let's do a longer quote. And finally, we'll do the world famous Pierre Gustafson test. Didn't like going that way. Got some little splatters and such. Wanted to sing to me. Oh, yeah. So when I was talking about it does that after it's been filled, that's exactly what I was talking about now. And you can see the ink. I was hoping it would happen too, so I could show you. The ink is no longer in the feed. It will get there. We'll get down to the nib again. See? But for a day or two here, I'm going to have to deal with that. And then the pen will work just fine. And this will all be forgotten. So next day or two, I'll be dealing with the sudden stoppage of writing. And then it'll work again. And that just seems to be a thing with this pen. So again, if I heat set the nib, possibly nib and feed, I'll possibly solve that problem. I'm leery to do that on a pen this expensive, but the nib is kind of floating there above the feed, so they got to touch. Otherwise, how are you going to feed it? One other test I always like to do. Yep, fits just fine in the pocket. I can picture a student using this pen. An older student, maybe college aged, because it's too nice a pen to give to, your younger students. But yeah, very, very impressive. And, it's too bad Montblanc has no longer is interested in that segment of the market. That's one of the things I like about some of the other brands, like Pelican. They have expensive pens, just like Montblanc does, but they also have some very low-cost pens. And the one thing that this does for Montblanc is it gives them a status. What do I own? 2 Montblancs, I think. I don't own very many, and none of them are the expensive ones. None of them are new. They're all older, from the 1960s or so, like this one. Yeah, the price, again, it does nothing for me. But yeah, don't be afraid of the name Montblanc. You will find some real prizes in the vintage world at much more reasonable cost than some of their modern offerings. So, if videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And hey, do you own a Montblanc? What are your feelings on them? Let us know down in the comments. I know that issue can get quite contentious and almost reverse snobbery where, well, I don't have a Montblanc because I'm not a rich snob, and that kind of attitude you'll run into on pen fora and such. So, I'm not trying to start a war or anything in the comments. I'm just curious, what are your feelings? There's not really any modern Montblanc pens that interest me, but I don't think I'd turn down a 149 or something if they wandered into my life somehow. Just not through my bank account. So, I want to thank you for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.